Let's talk about being stuck, and we're going to talk about what you can do to get yourself unstuck. Because one of the things I always love to teach people and encourage people to do is to feel very empowered in their own lives. And in the spiritual community, sometimes it's easy to get caught up in external things, whereas I'm just like, hey, even if there's external factors, there's always something you can do to call your power back, take control of the situation, and remedy it. So, what does feeling stuck look like? Feeling stuck isn't necessarily, super obvious energetically. Sometimes it is a feeling of stagnation. Oftentimes it is just not being able to make progress on something that you really want to make progress on. Maybe your manifestations aren't working. Maybe you're putting in the work and not getting the promotion. Maybe you're literally unable to make yourself do something that's very important to your goals. That's another way of being stuck. So let's talk about blockages first, because blockages, I think, are what a lot of people run into. One thing I'm not going to do, by the way, is talk about hexes. A lot of times people are saying, oh, all this is happening because of the hex. That is rare. That is edge cases. 99% of the time, if you're not able to move forward or progress in some way, it is a blockage that is either external or internal. So let's talk about external blocks. This is something where there may be stagnant energy around you. That is actually fairly easy. You can just purely do some sort of a cleanse, okay? Cleansing goes a long way. I think people like discount the value of a good cleanse. I'm talking about cleansing your space energetically. Bring in fresh energy and push out old. You can, of course, use smoke. You can, of course, use a bell. I'm looking around my desk because I always have a bell on my desk. That is one way to clear stagnant energy. You can do it around yourself. You can do it around a room. Now, if you're doing a smoke cleanse or if you are using like Florida water to like physically cleanse, make sure to open your windows because you want the old stagnant energy to move out. So you've probably seen a lot of videos about cleansing, so I'm not going to go on too much about that aspect of it, but I am going to say it's the easiest thing to do. Start with a cleanse and see if it helps get things moving. Usually you might need to do a cleanse and then some other things, but always start with a cleanse. And then if you want to like do a little bit more personal cleansing, of course, I'm going to say salt, salt water, all of that. You can go dip in the ocean. You can like bring in some Mediterranean sea salt, mix it with some olive oil and do like a scrub in the shower. Really just picture yourself like cleansing your energy. Okay. Now, let's talk about other external blockages. There may just be something that's in your way and it's a little bit like unspecified. You don't exactly know what it is. That is where you want to do a road opener. So if you're pretty sure that there's like some sort of external blockage, not something you're carrying, not something you're holding yourself back, but an external blockage, that's where you do a road opening. You can always do a road opening spell, and I think I talk about them on my website. If I do, I'll drop a link below. I can't remember. I used to sell road openings. I don't currently. Maybe I should start again. But I've done road opening ceremonies with people. They love them. They're very, very popular. You can do it completely by yourself, by the way. And you could do it as simple as just a white candle and just really like focus your energy on clearing the way. So if you do a road opening ritual, I want you to literally picture all of these things moving out of your way. External blockages, roadblocks, right? Bumps in the road, speed bumps, anything. Just really like picture them clearing out of the way and do this road opening ritual. If you want some books on it, let me know. I can do some recommendations there. The other thing is you can use road opening oils. I have purchased road opening oils in the past. I currently make one. It is very popular. This is one of my best sellers. I use it whenever I'm feeling particularly stuck. This is my own road opening oil. I will link it down below if you're interested. This is something where you can use this during your road opening ritual. You can anoint a candle or any tools with this. You can put this in a candle that you're burning regularly, or you can dip it on your incense. I'm pointing behind me because I have an incense going. So you can put it on your incense. You can put it in like a wax warmer, just whatever you want to do. But what a lot of people do, a lot of my clients will put this on their bodies every single day. So let's say you do a road opening ritual and you want to reinforce it. You want to make sure that that like energy like continues. You would use this oil. Most people put it on their wrist. You could do it on your hands. Some people do it up in here, especially if they feel like there's just like a little bit of energetic blockage. You can use a road opening oil for both an external and an internal blockage. It works for both. And again, you can buy other ones. You don't have to buy mine. Mine's really good though. It smells delicious. Okay. And then the other thing you can do is sometimes you're blocked because there's some sort of energetic attachment. Either something is attached itself to you, or you might have like an energetic tie to a person, a former relationship, an emotional tie to a situation. And another fun ritual you can do is a cord cutting. I really love doing cord cuttings, especially to remove this like lingering emotional energy. They're very powerful. I find them visually effective because when you do a cord cutting, you've got 2 candles and you've got like a string between them and all these other accessories, but you literally get to see how that cord is cut. A lot of people use them to like eliminate a relationship with like an ex, but it's good for any energetic tie. You might even have an energetic tie, I'm just going to say it, to like an entity or like an old friend, or even if like an old friend is like envious of you and they've like attached energetically to you, this will help with that. You can do a cord cutting. Love, love, love a cord cutting. Okay, so those are some of the big ones for external and energetic ties. And then I also want to talk about what you can do if it's a lot of like internal. Because what I've noticed is that a lot of people get blocked and feel blocked, and it's actually themselves holding themselves back. Either they can't fully commit the energy, to what it is that they want to progress or manifest. Like there's just like a belief that's holding them back, or their own energy is holding them back. That's where people get into, again, self-limiting beliefs or mindsets that are damaging. I've also seen sometimes people have like an energetic top level threshold that they set, and that will limit or inhibit them. An example of this is, let's say it's financial. And so I really love that idea of like raising your financial energetic threshold. It's not just about raising your bill rate, it's about raising the amount of money you believe that you deserve. And I noticed that even like in the mundane material realm, people will just look for jobs that are in a certain salary range, or they'll think, if I can make this much money, I'm good. That's a threshold that they've set. They've accidentally set an upper limit. And then that's the most they'll hit because that's their top level goal. This reminds me of that quote, aim for the stars, because if you miss, at least you'll like hit the moon or whatever, which is, anyway, I've always thought that was funny. But it's kind of giving that, right? Like it's kind of giving, aim higher. And even if you fall short, you're still further along than if you had set your sights lower. That's really like what you want to be doing, is like raising that energetic threshold. But a lot of people have other like blocks or, self-limiting beliefs. Like even, and I hate to say these phrases, so universe, I'm not putting this energy out there, I'm just saying this, even phrases like that's not for me, or I don't know if I deserve that, that happens to other people. That good thing happens for other people and it doesn't happen for me. You're going to have to retrain your brain that you have these good things happen, that you deserve good things to happen, that good things happen to me. You've got to shift into that vibration. But it's more to it than that, because a lot of times those things are like locked into like deep-seated personal beliefs, habits, maybe just some like unhealed parts of ourselves or wounds. So for that, I recommend doing some pretty intense inner work. And so you can do shadow work. I love shadow work because shadow work really heals shame, and it heals the causes of shame. And fundamentally, a lot of what holds us back, even if we wouldn't name it shame, is based in shame. Fear, often based in shame. Insecurity based in shame. And fear and insecurity are big things that can hold you back from reaching higher, from fully committing, again, energetically to the thing that you actually want and the thing that you're supposed to be getting. So you can there's lots of shadow work books out there. I do have a shadow work journal that people ask me to create, and it's a journal, but it's a workbook. So I have my shadow work workbook that I created. And then also if it's not just purely shadow work, and you really need to break down a lot of like emotional and mental blocks that might be happening, that's where you need to really focus on like breaking the block. So I did make a Breaking the Block 7-day course book for this reason, okay? because I had so many clients coming to me on my main account, which is pretty big, or through my readings. And they're like, what can I do? I know I'm blocked. What can I do? By the way, what can I do is my favorite question, because that tells me you're taking your power back. You're taking control. You're taking agency in your own life. This is how you reestablish sovereignty in your life, or even establish it for the first time, is asking, what can I do about this situation, right? Not, when will things change, or when will this happen for me, but what can I do? That tells me you're ready to take the next step in your life and in your spiritual journey. And when I used to do a lot of leadership and management coaching, that is one thing I would say when people were first moving into management as well, is they would say, I'm ready for the next step. Like, not when can I get promoted, or when is this going to happen for me? I'm ready for the next step. To me, this is the same thing as asking, what can I do? There's a lot of things you can do in the spiritual world and the psychological world to, take control of your own destiny, which is what we're all about here, right? So like I said, you can purchase my 7-day Breaking the Block course book. And again, it is a workbook, and there's something you do every day. So if you want to break down your blocks, if you want to take control of this, you have to commit to doing it 7 days in a row for you. It's not for me, it's for you. And so if you're ready to commit to 7 straight days of doing this intense work, do it. And it's a repeatable framework. It's something you can do for multiple blocks, and some of our blocks take more time. You might do it and chip away at this block and then do it again for the same block. But again, it's a reusable framework. You can buy it once and use it a million times, okay? But this is something, like I said, that I have found helpful. This has been my own process that I have used, and then a lot of my clients, seeing my own progression and my own success, have asked me, how can I do the same thing? That's how. You have so many different tools at your disposal. Another thing you can do is, if you do work with your spirit team or your deities very closely, you can ask them for help, and you can give them offerings, and you can ask them to walk with you. I just have to emphasize, they're not going to do the work for you. So I would recommend doing one or more of the things that we just talked about, and asking your spirit guides to support you through that. Asking them maybe for clarity on which ones of these things that you should do, one or more, and asking them to walk with you and lend you their support, because your deities want you to be sovereign in your own life and taking this agency and taking control and being empowered. So there's one more option that we haven't talked about yet, and I've got it sitting in front of me, and you may be familiar with what I'm about to show you, which is Moldavite. So Moldavite is a very semi-precious mineral, and this is something that happened because a meteorite hit the earth in, I think, Czechoslovakia. I'm terrible with geography. And the material from the meteorite mingled with the earth. So a lot of people say this is extraterrestrial. It is, but it's not just extraterrestrial, it's also terrestrial. And this is very much known to remove blockages in your life, to take things out of your life that are not meant for you. And so it's really funny, because when I first made my road opening oil, one of my friends, my retail partner, she kept saying it's like Moldavite in a bottle, or it's like gentler Moldavite. It's gentler, I can tell you that. If you need the nuclear option, that is where you're bringing in Moldavite. And you can get it in loose stones. You can get it in, I've got earrings, I've got rings. I keep my Moldavite, however, except for the ring, which is downstairs, in a wooden box to contain the energy. Some people find Moldavite to be a very strong thing energetically, it really rocks them. If you can physically feel it, that probably means you need it the most, if that makes sense. I've done a lot of clearing. To me, this is nice and soothing. Sometimes it's a little spicy, but for some people, they have a really strong energetic reaction. If that's you, start off in small doses with Moldavite. And I think it's something that should be worn. So again, earrings, rings, loose stones that you can carry, maybe even put them in one of those necklace pouch things. But if you do that, please work up to it. And then also don't wear it for too long. When I say work up to it, I mean maybe 1 to 2 hours a day, and then build up to being able to wear it or carry it all day. I'm telling you, You need to build up to it if you have that spicy reaction. And then once you notice things starting to shift and move in your life, pay attention, because at some point you need to stop using and carrying it and you need to put it away. Maybe even get a cute little box for it. So I recommend that. I did meet a girl at my gym. Shout out if she's watching. Love her. But I met her at the gym and she works at the gym, sorry. And I was talking to her and I was like, is that a Moldavite ring? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, has it been working for you? And she's like, yes. And then it turned out she'd been wearing it for a year and a half. And I was like, oh, you need to put it away. Because she's telling me that the first 3 months she was wearing it, all this stuff changed, right? And then, she's kind of settling into her new life. I'm like, put it away. To me, you put it away and you let it recharge its energy in a way. But also it's like you're still carrying around your nuclear option. You don't really need it, and it might disrupt other energy that you need to come in now that you're in this new stage, right? So one more thing about Moldavite though, I do have to say this. When you are clearing your way, when you're removing blockages, I want you to remember some of these things are things you're attached to. Sometimes this shakeup, sometimes this removal can feel hard and it can almost feel a little traumatic because it is a big change. So I just want you to be ready for that if you're using something that's a strong option like Moldavite, or even like if you're not sure what your blockages are, it could be someone in your life that you love and care about, but is actually keeping you from what's truly meant for you. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you've got a partner that you're comfortable with, but they hold you back from traveling or starting your business. And it turns out what you want requires you to do those things. If you are clearing roadblocks and using Moldavite, that might not be a relationship that's on the path that you're saying that you want or that is actually like meant for you. So there may be some discomfort. You might lose partners, friends, jobs that are not meant for you. So I always caution people, be really sure what you're asking for and be willing to pay the price, because the price of your new life sometimes is your old one. And so the girl at the gym I met, she started wearing her Moldavite, broke up with her relationship, lost her job, had to move. That's very disruptive. But then a year after that, she loves her new job. She's in a much better relationship and she's in a much better living situation. The ex was toxic. Sometimes when you're in the toxic relationship, you can't see what it is. See it for what it is. Sometimes, like I said, the relationship's very comfortable, but it's not moving you forward. That's not the partner that you need for the future that you want. So I'm not out here telling y'all break up with your partners, quit your jobs. Well, I'm not telling you any of that. What I am saying is if you're stuck, some of those things might need to be cleared away. And if you're asking Spirit, Moldavite, your guides to take a hand, they're going to take a hand. And just be prepared. And I don't want you to think your life is being ruined. It's being disrupted for your own good. Because again, the price of your new life sometimes is your old one. Sometimes it's not. Just be ready. And if you can't see the answer on your own, but you want the change, that's going to be some of what happens. So think really hard about like which of these methods you could use, because I gave you some very gentle options, right? And then I gave you some stronger options. I would start with the gentlest. That's why I'm like, start with a cleanse, start with any of the other things I just said. If nothing's working, if it's not shifting enough, be prepared. If you do seek out Moldavite, and if you're on the other platform or this one, you've probably seen a lot of the stories about it, just be prepared. You'll end up where you want to be, but the path there is going to require some discomfort. I will say that. So take this to heart. I have links for everything down below. And then, if you do end up buying Moldavite, you have got to buy it from a trusted seller. The reason I'm saying that is because there's a lot of fake Moldavite on the market. I'm not trying to scare you, but I want you to be informed. And so you can do your research and find trusted sellers with like good reviews. But even then, like I've bought some where I'm like, I'm not sure this is the real deal. So find a seller that you trust, because remember, this is a finite material. This is not an infinite material. This is not a common material. It's pretty expensive. And so if you're finding it very cheap, if you are finding it from someone who has a lot of it for very cheap, it's probably not real Moldavite. I'm just going to say that. So vet your sources. And I have bought from Etsy dealers, I have bought from online crystal shops. And then my very good friend owns a crystal shop here in Texas, and she does have a website. And her name's Tracy, and she owns dfwcrystals.com. So she is my retail partner, but I met her at her crystal shop. So I went in there as a customer and we developed a friendship, and she became my retail partner. She actually is the one who sells and ships all my oils, for example. So I now buy my Moldavite from her because she personally knows her dealer and has a direct connection to the source of where they come from. So everything she's getting is like, what's the right word? Responsibly sourced, but also, it's legit. So, and actually my box came from there too, now that I think about it. So anyway, I highly recommend purchasing from dfwcrystals.com, even if you're not in Texas, because I know her stuff is good and she's got an amazing website. Also, for any of my viewers, she gave me a code for July called Moon Magic, one word, and I'll put it in the captions, Moon Magic. And so if you purchase anything, like if your order is over $30, you can get free shipping. So you can like safely and confidently order from her shop, know that her stuff is legit, and also get free shipping. But if you're in Texas, I do recommend making your way to East Plano and going to my friend's store, because it is beautiful and peaceful and has amazing energy. Then you can see your Moldavite. She's got jewelry, and then she does have loose pieces of Moldavite. If you go in person to her shop, you're going to have to ask for the loose pieces of Moldavite because she keeps them in the bag. So that is one little pro tip. All right, if I missed anything about blocks, please let me know. There is one more thing I wanted to add, and this is the part that nobody wants to hear, but there are some people who need to hear this. And think about this before you go spend any money or any of your energy. Do the cleanse. Just do a regular cleanse. I am going to say that. But the one thing that I think people need to pay attention to is if you have tried everything to move towards this goal. If you have tried everything, you've done cord cuttings, you've done releases, you've done cleanses, you've done the shadow work, you've opened the road, blah, 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 and you cannot make progress towards this goal, I'm going to tell you, sometimes that blockage is there for your own good. Like sometimes it is. I don't know how often, maybe 15% of the time, I'd say you are stuck for a good reason. And that reason is that thing is not meant for you. And if you keep putting your energy towards that thing that's not meant for you, the opportunity cost is you are not putting your energy towards the thing that is, that you will enjoy so much more and is, more truly a part of your life path. So really think about that. If you have been wanting something for years and you have put in all of the work, material work, emotional work, mental work, spiritual work, you have done the work and it is not happening and it has been years, that thing may not be for you, honey. It may not. So ask your spirit guides for clarity. That is one thing I would do. Let me just tell you, I ask for clarity all the time. I'm like, I double check myself. I sanity check myself. I'll think something. I'll check the cards. You know what I mean? I will think something. I'll hold my clear quartz and try and visualize it, but I'll ask for clarity. So I just want to put that out there. And especially before you go spend money or spend any more time on something, is make sure that you know that that thing really is meant for you, because sometimes it's not. That's the hard truth. All right. I love you guys. My name is Gabby. I do go by Mystic Moon Rising. If you are not following me on the other platform, I will link that below as well. Please do. I do post more frequently on the other platform, but I am going to try and post regularly on YouTube long form content. And I do post shorts daily for my daily pick-a-cards. I am a spiritual practitioner. I am a priestess of Hecate, Lilith, and Persephone, and I make spiritual content. I am a very gifted claircognizant. Thank you to my spirit guides, source, my whole team for that. And I am very blessed to be able to bring you guys these messages and help y'all out. Let me know what you'd like to see in the next video. If there's anything you're curious about, I'm happy to make a video about it. Okay, I love you guys. Mwah.